I spot some water plants with edible roots and make a small meal with my last bit of rabbit. Sip water. Watch the sun make its slow arc across the sky. Where would I go, anyway, that is any safer than here? I lean back on my pack, overcome by drowsiness. If the careers want me, let them find me, I think, before drifting into stupor. Let them find me. And find me they do. It's lucky I'm ready to move on, because when I hear the feet, I have less than a minute head start. Evening has begun to fall. The moment I wake, I'm up and running, splashing across the pool, flying into the underbrush. My leg slows me down, but I sense my pursuers are not as speedy as they were before the fire either. I hear their coughs, the raspy voices calling to one another. Still, they are closing in, just like a pack of wild dogs. And so I do what I've done my whole life in such circumstances. I pick a high tree and begin to climb. If running hurt, climbing is agonizing, because it requires not only exertion, but direct contact of my hands on the tree bark. I'm fast, though, and by the time they have reached the base of my trunk, I'm 20 feet up. For a moment, we stop and survey one another. I hope they can't hear the pounding of my heart. This could be it, I think. What chance do I have against them? All 6 are there, the 5 careers and PETA, and my only consolation is that they're pretty beat up too. Even so, look at their weapons. Look at their faces, grinning and snarling at me, a sure kill above them. It seems pretty hopeless. But then, something else registers. They're bigger and stronger than I am, no doubt, but they're also heavier. There's a reason it's me and not Gale who ventures up to pluck the highest fruit, or rob the most remote bird nests. I must weigh at least 50 or 60 pounds less than the smallest career. Now I smile. "How's everything with you?" I call down cheerfully. This takes them aback, but I know the crowd will love it. "Well enough," says the boy from District 2. "Yourself?" "It's been a bit warm for my taste," I say. I can almost hear the laughter from the Capitol. "The air's better up here. Why don't you come up?" "Think I will," says the same boy. "Here, take this, Cato," says the girl from District 1, and she offers him the silver bow and sheath of arrows. My bow. My arrows. Just the sight of them makes me so angry I want to scream. At myself, at that traitor PETA for distracting me from having them. I try to make eye contact with him now, but he seems to be intentionally avoiding my gaze as he polishes his knife with the edge of his shirt. "No," says Cato, pushing away the bow. "I'll do better with my sword." I can see the weapon, a short, heavy blade at his belt. I give Cato time to hoist himself into the tree before I begin to climb again. Gale always says I remind him of a squirrel, the way I can scurry up even the slenderest of limbs. Part of it's my weight, but part of it's practice. You have to know where to place your hands and feet. I'm another 30 feet in the air when I hear the crack, and look down to see Cato flailing as he and a branch go down. He hits the ground hard, and I'm hoping he possibly broke his neck when he gets back to his feet, swearing like a fiend. The girl with the arrows, Glimmer, I hear someone call her. Ugh, the names the people in District 1 give their children are so ridiculous. Anyway, Glimmer scales the tree until the branches begin to crack under her feet, and then she has the good sense to stop. I'm at least 80 feet high now. She tries to shoot me, and it's immediately evident that she's incompetent with a bow. One of the arrows gets lodged in the tree near me, though, and I'm able to seize it. I wave it teasingly above her head, as if this was the sole purpose of retrieving it, when actually I mean to use it if I ever get the chance. I could kill them, every one of them, if those silver weapons were in my hands. The careers regroup on the ground, and I hear them growling conspiratorially among themselves, furious I have made them look foolish. But twilight has arrived, and their window of attack on me is closing. Finally, I hear PETA say harshly, "Oh, let her stay up there. It's not like she's going anywhere. We'll deal with her in the morning." Well, he's right about one thing. I'm going nowhere. All the relief from the pool water is gone, leaving me to feel the full potency of my burns. I scoot down to a fork in the tree and clumsily prepare for bed, put on my jacket, lay out my sleeping bed, build myself in and try to keep from moaning. The heat of the bag's too much for my leg. I cut a slash in the fabric and hang my calf out into the open air. I drizzle water on the wound, my hands. All my bravado is gone. I'm weak from pain and hunger, but can't bring myself to eat. Even if I can last the night, what will morning bring? I stare into the foliage trying to will myself to rest, but the burns forbid it. Birds are settling down for the night, singing lullabies to their young. Night creatures emerge, an owl hoots. The faint scent of a skunk cuts through the smoke. The eyes of some animal peer at me from the neighboring tree, a possum maybe, catching the firelight from the career's torches. Suddenly I'm up on one elbow. Those are no possum's eyes. I know their glassy reflection too well. In fact, those are not animal eyes at all. In the last dim rays of light, I make her out, watching me silently from between the branches. Rue. How long has she been here? The whole time, probably. Still and unobserved as the action unfolded beneath her. Perhaps she headed up her tree shortly before I did, hearing the pack was so close. For a while we hold each other's gaze. Then, without even rustling a leaf, her little hand slides out into the open and points to something above my head. Chapter 14. My eyes follow the line of her finger up into the foliage above me. At first I have no idea what she's pointing to. But then, about 15 feet up, I make out the vague shape in the dimming light. But of what? Some sort of animal? It looks about the size of a raccoon, but it hangs from the bottom of a branch, swaying ever so slightly. There's something else. Among the familiar evening sounds of the woods, my ears register a low hum. Then I know. It's a wasp nest. Fear shoots through me, but I have enough sense to keep still. After all, I don't know what kind of wasp lives there. It could be the ordinary leave us alone and we'll leave you alone type. But these are the Hunger Games, and ordinary isn't the norm. More likely, they will be one of the capital's mutations. Trackerjackers. Like the Jabberjays, these killer wasps were spawned in a lab and strategically placed, like landmines, around the districts during the war. Larger than regular wasps, they have a distinctive solid gold body and a sting that raises a lump the size of a plum on contact. Most people can't tolerate more than a few stings. Some die at once. If you live, the hallucinations brought on by the venom have actually driven people to madness. And there's another thing. These wasps will hunt down anyone who disturbs their nest and attempt to kill them. That's where the tracker part of the name comes from. After the war, the capital destroyed all the nests surrounding their city, but the ones near the districts were left untouched. Another reminder of our weakness, I suppose, just like the Hunger Games. Another reason to keep inside the fence of District 12. When Gail and I come across a trackerjacker nest, we immediately head in the opposite direction. So is that what hangs above me? I look back to Rue for help, but she's melted into her tree. Given my circumstances, I guess it doesn't matter what type of wasp it is. I'm wounded and trapped. Darkness has given me a brief reprieve, but by the time the sun rises, the careers will have formulated a plan to kill me. There's no way they could do otherwise after I've made them look so stupid. That nest may be my sole option I have left. If I can drop it down on them, I may be able to escape, but I'd risk my life in the process. Of course, I'll never be able to get in close enough to the actual nest to cut it free. I'll have to saw off the branch at the trunk and send the whole thing down. The serrated portion of my knife should be able to manage that, but can my hands? And will the vibration from the sawing raise the swarm? And what if the careers figure out what I'm doing and move their camp? That would defeat the whole purpose. I realize that the best chance I'll have to do the sawing without drawing notice will be during the anthem. That could begin any time. I drag myself out of my bag and make sure my knife is secured to my belt, and begin to make my way up the tree. This in itself is dangerous, since the branches are becoming precariously thin, even for me. But I persevere. When I reach the limb that supports the nest, the humming becomes more distinctive, but it's still oddly subdued if these are tracker-jackers. It's the smoke, I think. It's sedated them. This was one defense the rebels found to battle the wasps. The seal of the Capitol shines above me, and the anthem blares out. It's now or never, I think, and begin to saw. Blisters burst on my right hand as I awkwardly drag the knife back and forth. Once I've got a groove, the work requires less effort, but it's almost more than I can handle. I grit my teeth and saw away, occasionally glancing up at the sky to register that there were no deaths today. That's all right. The audience will be sated, seeing me injured and treed, and the pack below me. But the anthem's running out, and I'm only 3/4 of the way through the wood when the music ends, the sky goes dark, and I'm forced to stop. Now what? I could probably finish off the job by sense of feel, but that may not be the smartest plan. If the wasps are too groggy, if the nest catches on its way down, if I try to escape, this could all be a deadly waste of time. Better, I think, to sneak up here at dawn and send the nest into my enemies. In the faint light of the career's torches, I inch back down to my fork to find the best surprise I've ever had. Sitting on my sleeping bag is a small plastic pot attached to a silver parachute. My first gift from a sponsor. Hamish must have had it sent in during the anthem. The pot easily fits in the palm of my hand. What can it be? Not food, surely. I unscrew the lid, and I know by the scent that it's medicine. Cautiously, I probe the surface of the ointment. The throbbing in my fingertip vanishes. "Oh, Hamish," I whisper. "Thank you." He has not abandoned me, not left me to fend entirely for myself. The cost of this medicine must be astronomical. Probably not one, but many sponsors have contributed to buy this one tiny pot. To me, it's priceless. I dip 2 fingers into the jar and gently spread the balm over my calf. The effect is almost magical, erasing the pain on contact, leaving a pleasantly cool sensation behind. This is no herbal concoction that my mother grinds up out of the woodland plants. It's high-tech medicine brewed up in the Capitol's labs. When my calf is treated, I rub a thin layer into my hands. After wrapping the pot in the parachute, I nestle it safely away in my pack. Now that the pain is eased, it's all I can do to reposition myself in my bag before I plunge into sleep. A bird perched just a few feet from me alerts me that a new day is dawning. In the gray morning light, I examine my hands. The medicine has transformed all the angry red patches to a soft baby skin pink. My leg still feels inflamed, but that burn was far deeper. I apply another coat of medicine and quickly pack up my gear. Whatever happens, I'm going to have to move and to move fast. I also make myself eat a cracker and a strip of beef and drink a few cups of water. Almost nothing stayed in my stomach yesterday, and I'm already starting to feel the effects of hunger. Below me, I can see the career pack and Peta asleep on the ground. By her position, leaning up against the trunk of the tree, I'd guess Glimmer was supposed to be on guard, but fatigue overcame her. My eyes squint as they try to penetrate the tree next to me, but I can't make out Rue. Since she tipped me off, it only seems fair to warn her. Besides, if I'm going to die, it's Rue I want to win. Even if it means a little extra food for my family, the idea of Peta being crowned victor is unbearable. I call Rue's name in a hushed whisper, and the eyes appear, wide and alert at once. She points up to the nest again. I hold up my knife and make a sawing motion. She nods and disappears. There was a rustling in a nearby tree, then the same noise again a bit farther off. I realize she's leaping from tree to tree. It's all I can do not to laugh out loud. Is this what she showed the game makers? I imagine her flying around the training equipment, never touching the floor. She should have gotten at least a 10.